Hello and welcome back to the Rudimentary podcast, the podcast where we take the basic things and make them extremely difficult to understand, to talk about, to even ponder. This is episode number 6. That's right, folks. 2 hands.
This guy
This guy,
throwing up the woo.
this
W on
guy
the win.
already, already is ready. I, you know what? Let's just roll with it. Andy, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Oh, having a great night tonight. Big night in the WNBA, baby. Big night.
Big night.
You can tell he's excited, but not as excited as our other co-host. That's right, straight from the West Side. That's what the W was for, the West Side.
Oh, that's
Snake.
what it was for?
that guy.
I'll take it. I'll take that W. That tastes like a W.
Oh, worst celebration ever.
Snakes, buddy,
Yeah.
how you doing?
I'm fantastic, my friend. Not because of what you guys have going on, but my own thing. I had an acai bowl for dinner, and it was delightful.
Okay, so we've got excitement over the WNBA. We've got excitement over an acai bowl.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's find out what we're more interested. Snakes,
Have
what
you
was
ever
in
had-
that bowl?
Yeah, have you ever had an acai bowl?
Well, take a look at me, and chances are you can figure that one out for yourself.
It's somewhat
Go
healthy.
ahead,
Acai
take it
bowl,
away. What's in an acai bowl?
Well, you can have many different things. It's almost like you go to a yogurt land kind of thing, but the base is acai berry that's ground up and frozen, so it's almost like a berry ice cream, but without the sugar and without the cream, and so people use that as the base. And I had some chia pudding in there, some bananas, some strawberries, some blueberries. Got to get that antioxidants, and some almond butter with some agave on top. It was so good, and that was my dinner. Cutting back, guys.
That your dinner.
Sounds
Yeah,
like
dinner.
dessert for dinner.
You're an adult.
That's how I live my life. Nobody tells me the rules.
Dessert for
One
dinner.
bite at a
This
time.
guy.
Well, we have the ingredients to what sounds like an amazing acai bowl. Andy,
Yeah.
most pressing question, not WNBA related. How many acai bowls have you had in your life? And go.
Counting the one I didn't have yesterday, 0.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's up to date
Well,
numbers.
Those are
Just
real time.
updated.
As of this recording.
Yeah.
Well, good.
And next.
I'm glad you guys are doing well. We've had some storms, some weather, some craziness, but who cares? Because we're on to our first topic.
Here we go.
Well, that was fun. How about we move on to the next topic? If you guys have listened to pretty much any of the first 5 episodes, you know that we like to talk about the WNBA and more recently the Rookie of the Year race that for a while was, we'll call it close. I mean, at one point, I think the biggest was minus 550 for Caitlin Clark to plus 350 for Angel Reese. So Caitlin Clark's still the huge favorite. But I'm not going to tell you why it's no longer close. And while we probably won't be talking about this topic, I'm going to let you guys at home guess which one of these guys is going to be filling you in on why that race is not close anymore. Now, before I announce, take a few seconds to think about it.
Think real hard.
That's right. Andy. Shocking. Andy, why don't you inform us? You've been a big proponent of Caitlin Clark, and rightfully so. She's amazing. But why, barring catastrophic injury, is the race over? Tell us what's transpired since the last episode.
Well, we have a new single game assist leader in WNBA history. In game 26 of her career, 19 assists tonight. Went absolutely nuts. 24 points, 6 rebounds, doing it all in a loss. Shouldn't have been a loss, but um, yeah, it's some holes to fill. We were talking the draft coming up, doing a little mock draft there, Funkle. He
Are
looked.
you kidding me? You being
Oh,
serious?
yeah, yeah, mock draft, baby. Um, what were you-
WNBA.
what's that? WNBA.
W-
Yes, some big prospects coming out of Connecticut, Notre Dame, USC. So yeah, there's some moves got to be made, but yeah, the rookie of the year race should have been over. Anybody who seriously knows anything about basketball, it should have been over a while ago. Which I don't think, according to Vegas, it's always uh, been over, but just a matter of how close they thought it might be. I think it adjusted tonight from oh, what was it? Some sites had it at minus 1,000, minus 1,200 to I think now sites have it at minus 2,000 to Caitlin Clark after the performance tonight. So um, yeah, it's for me just something that you know something to uh, root for. I don't have to sit and watch summer league NBA games and watch uh, LeBron Jr. Um,
Bronny.
throw yeah, Bronny
Yeah,
throw up
that's
bricks uh, left and right. Although I don't know what he's doing tonight. Trav, you got an update?
before we signed on, 9 points, folks. 1 point away from that double-digit points in the summer league.
Mm.
He might get a single double.
Yeah, might.
First career.
I don't get the hatred. But that's
It's I don't hate the kid, but
Right.
I hate the way his dad orchestrated this whole mess. That guy's got no business on the Lakers, and I believe he'd rather, like we said, he'd rather be playing Call of Duty. He's a champ at Call of Duty.
with Tyler Murray.
Yeah.
Bronny and Tyler Murray can just
Yeah.
focus on Call of Duty.
Yep.
Funkle, your take, as we've all been waiting for it, your take on the WNBA Rookie of the Year vote. Do you believe it's all over?
Yeah, be careful now.
It's been over. No, the only
Yeah,
person that I knew was Caitlin Clark.
And you follow the WNBA not at all, but yet you
Correct.
still don't know the name.
But I know the name and know how to spell it. I'm looking at you,
That
Joe.
makes two of us.
But there's 3 on this podcast.
That's
Yep.
correct.
And he's looking at the one that doesn't.
That's right.
Listen,
Yeah.
make a
it's-
mistake one time.
You tried to do it the last time. We
Okay, that
stopped
was
it before the show launched.
That's twice.
pre. Okay, no one
We
was
went
to
through
know
what?
about that.
That's
All right,
twice.
whatever.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark's the only reason that we're talking about WNBA at every damn episode. It's not Angel Reese. It's not what is it, Asia Wilson, who I'm buddies with now.
Best friend.
So, and I would have never known that name if it weren't for you guys bringing her up on this because of Caitlin Clark.
Yep.
So,
Right on.
she wins it. But it was interesting that you said that she had 26 points, 19 assists, a double in a losing effort, and it reminded me of when Jordan went off and had 63 in the playoffs
Against the Celtics.
against the Celtics, and he was told that by Dan Patrick, and Bird was on the show, and he goes, "Yeah, but you forget we swept them in that series." So,
And that should be all that
it-
matters.
yeah, Bird's just a legend. I can't get enough of watching all the highlights and everybody telling their stories now that he's retired, and the Bird stories are coming out, and he was definitely built different.
One of the premier trash talkers.
Oh man, I would say the iconic trash talker. No,
Yeah, I mean, there's some good stories.
Oh yeah, and now anybody can just jump online and tell the story. I love all these these podcasts from these former players or current players
Right.
or whatever that, bring these guys that played against Bird and just things that you didn't know or that you can find out about, any player that's out there now because these guys have a platform where it's not just, talking to buddies at games or whatever. They're in front of people talking about their stories of,
Yeah.
playing against Jordan, playing against Bird, the Showtime Lakers, and plus you have shows out now that talk about the behind the scenes.
Right.
Uncle, you watch a lot. Have you watched the LA Clippers one with Ed O'Neill?
Oh no, the clipped, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I didn't watch that one. Any good? Have you?
I've 2 parts into it. It's fun to see Ed O'Neill as the Clippers owner.
Donald
Sterling?
Sterling.
Yes. The unique. It makes me think of as far as him playing that and just listening to him talk, things like that when Tom Hanks played the Colonel in the recent Elvis movie. It's just totally different to see somebody like that playing a role like that. So it
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. I would recommend it, but I wouldn't make it one of those Uncle, what's that type of recommendation that I would just bet anything on?
Oh, that's your reputation rec. Your rep
Yeah.
rec. Rep
Nope.
rec.
Not gonna make clipped that.
No?
No, no. And I'd like to this is why we have pre-show, folks, is because we can go over these topics. Our next topic was going to be breaking news, but this guy already broke the news of a WNBA record.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, he's already ahead of the game.
Thank you.
He's breaking
19 assists.
records. He's breaking rules. This guy.
Can't be contained.
The rules don't apply to him,
That's right.
folks. They do
He
not
drives
apply to
trucks,
him.
breaks arms, and arms wrestles. That's all. That's what he was
What I
born to
do, it's
do.
what I do best.
Second switch.
When are we going to talk about that movie? Oh man, dude,
Yeah,
that's just great.
that's a good one.
Before the show, we were talking. Andy talked about WNBA, and it wouldn't be an episode if we don't mention our buddy Ort, who is on the WNBA talk while Funkel was setting the look. That's
Uh,
a common look when our buddy Ort's name gets mentioned sometimes.
Yeah, you
But
missed out. You would have really liked it. I mean, we were like, okay, at 3 and 6, who's taking who? And
God.
when does Indiana pick? Yeah, I mean, this
Oh.
is yeah.
Getting serious.
we were looking at up-to-date projections of draft position. That's where
game
we
film.
were at. Oh yeah,
Game
game
film.
film.
I'm sure we'll be getting some comments on on this about it. So, or if you get the first pick, why don't you tell us who you're taking?
Oh, there's topics flying on what we could do. This is going to be interesting. As you can tell, all three of us are excited about the upcoming offseason for the WNBA. With the success of the WNBA, the salary cap will be going up at least $50,000 for each team, but that also does not take into account what Andy was talking about, and that was a huge TV deal signed, correct?
Oh yeah, $2.2 billion TV deal for the WNBA.
Oh, that is a monster. 2.2 to
Yep.
who?
Let's see who was. I mean, just an overall deal with
Oh,
For the
all
league
the
broadcast.
yeah. So I mean, you'll get them on ESPN. You'll get them in all the kind of like an NFL deal where there's a certain
How
amount
have
of
you
games to
been?
this network and that.
He's been
How have you
on
been
Game
able to
Pass.
watch Game Pass?
I was, but since the beginning of the season, I was gonna get it, but what I ended up doing was I found a chart that had like all the like I would say almost half their games are just broadcast on different antenna available channels around here. So
Oh,
I've been able to watch everything here and there and find it in streaming on a few other sites.
okay.
early on in the season, FanDuel had a promotion where if you made a $5 bet on any WNBA game, individual bet, whatever, they gave you a free month of WNBA League Pass. So that was how I was watching it. It's about expired now, and that was a way to drum up some more, which in turn realized they didn't need to do that because it's been huge. So Funkel, a couple names: Paige Buckers, Kiki Erie Affen. Yeah. Something
Write
going
this
on.
down.
These names
And
mean nothing to
Anissa
me.
Morrow. So yes, remember those names. You'll be hearing them very early in the
Locked
draft.
in. We got it locked in.
Locked and loaded.
Yep. Ready to go.
And you know what? This might be the shortest WNBA segment that we've talked about in 5, currently 6 episodes. We're moving right along, folks. This is impressive.
Right.
Before we
Great.
move right along, Andy, anything else? WNBA? I'm sure.
No, I
Funkel-
think Caitlin let her play do the talking. That's what we do around here.
Well, it would be nice if her teammates did some talking with her. 19
Yeah.
assists. Okay, so what was the final score?
101-93, I think.
Okay, so she was a part of at least half of the points.
Oh yeah.
26 and then 19. So that's at least she's going to have 38 with those assists.
Right.
Yeah.
Not counting the threes. So she's
What the
accounting
hell,
for
right?
over half the points and they lose.
Yep. And she wasn't even their top scorer. So they had her at 26. Aaliyah Boston had 28.
Isn't
And
Aaliyah Boston a second-year player?
yes,
She
she was
is.
last year's Rookie of the Year.
My man. Picking it up, absorbing it.
Boom. Look at Funkel, everybody. This is what we want from this podcast. We want
Hey.
you.
Hey, Funkel, though, I'll tell you
Yeah.
what.
What?
You know what team it looks like is going to have the number 1 pick?
Sparks.
You better believe it. Out in your neck of the
Really?
woods.
Yes. Will you be celebrating? Like, are you going to be around? Like, will they be broadcasting the lottery where they, announce the first overall pick?
You know what we're going to need? We're going to need a man on the streets for the
boots on
Yes.
the ground over here.
yeah, in the parking lot.
Hey, I don't mind. Hey, I would love to get a press pass, press pass,
There
Yeah.
it is.
and then try to interview that Cameron lady.
Okay.
Cameron?
All right. So are we members of the media? What do we need to
Well,
do to get credentials?
We definitely don't have credentials. We are not.
How do we get them?
members of
Hey, but you used to pride yourself on sneaking into places, right?
well, that was about 20 years ago, and probably 50 pounds ago, and
But you're eating acai
and half
bowls.
of that is hair on my face. What?
Yeah, you're eating acai bowls.
Yeah,
I
you're getting
am
back to
eating
your
the eyeballs. Hey, if I get, I'm definitely going to try to get a press pass.
All right.
Credentials.
Woo!
That's
boots on the ground.
Oh, I can't
for
wait.
MLB, not WNBA.
No, you have to go WNBA too. You got to use this thing all over the place.
Okay.
Expand your horizons.
Okay, I just changed my song at the end, by the way. Just for
You-
you guys.
He saved it for wow.
Yep.
He announced it now. There was going to be 4 songs probably that he was going to go through at the end, but
Yep.
now
You guys
Wait.
don't have to sit through all that.
in that case, breaking news.
Oh,
Yeah,
what is going on tonight?
we're going to pick one song and one song only.
Wow. This is crazy.
Yeah,
we
this
didn't need
is-
this banner anyways.
Yeah.
Moving on from the WNBA, we're going to talk entertainment. And as you can see from the graphic, hi, my name is, guess who's back? You get it. Eminem's next album, The Death of Slim Shady, was released. And it's projected to do 270,000 to 290,000 in album sales, which is significant because it will knock somebody off the number 1 position who was there for 12 consecutive weeks.
Wow.
That's right, folks. She's everywhere, including number 1 on charts. Taylor Swift is projected to be knocked off the charts at number 1 by Mr. Eminem himself. First off, go ahead.
You're saying 200,000 units is enough to knock off number one? It used to be millions, right? Open with millions.
Yeah. Yep.
Times have
Isn't
changed,
that crazy?
right? Yeah.
Have you guys heard, aside from Houdini, have you guys heard anything off the album?
A little bit.
It's
I think I heard one song. I don't think it was Houdini though. I heard one that it was talking about his daughter, right, Haley.
Yep. Haley. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on some of those. It's like you woke a sleeping giant. You know, the diss tracks are apparently cool kids. Diss tracks.
Mm.
All
Yeah,
right.
they do it. Yep.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
So he's been firing away. It's been well received. Obviously, his fans have been waiting for it. And again, when you knock off Taylor Swift of anything, you know you're doing all right.
Yeah.
This
Did
album,
Billie Eilish knock her off at all? She had an album that came out. She's got, I mean, millions upon millions of fans. That didn't knock her off the pop
no,
list? Huh. Interesting.
unless it was 12 weeks ago or less or more,
Birds of Feather?
flock together.
They do. That's the song that's being used all over the place on social media.
Are you fans of Billie Eilish? Thoughts before I go back into the Slim Shady?
Yeah.
Billie Eilish, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't mind Billie Eilish. Um, I I don't know. It'll be interesting to see her staying power. She runs the
Mhm.
risk of a lot of her stuff starting to sound the same. Just that style. I think she
Yeah.
could do more. I think she needs to branch her sound out a little more.
Okay.
Personal feeling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Funkle?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. She's already won 2 Oscars. That song in Barbie. I didn't know the song going in. I saw Barbie opening day. I did the Barbenheimer, 2 for opening day for both of them, and saw that and her song coming in there. What was I made for? And that's, in all honesty, it's one of the most beautiful cinematic moments that I've seen. Um,
Mm,
there's uh, there's one other one that I really liked, and I think is like the most beautiful, like 5 minutes of cinema where you have the sound, the song, the cinematography, and the acting coming together with the story for a complete culmination of beautiful cinema, and that was one of them. My favorite one of all time is movie with Bob Dylan, Billy Kid, and the Pat Garrett, or Billy the Kid and Pat
mhm,
Garrett, with Lee Marvin as Pat Garrett. I think it was Lee Marvin. Um, and Bob Dylan sings "Knocking on Heaven's Door" when this guy, an old friend of theirs, gets shot in the belly, and he's crawling to the river, and the sun is setting, and that song comes on, and the mother is like walking after him. Oh, it is such a beautiful moment. I highly
mm.
recommend it. If you haven't seen it, take a look at it because they were all buddies.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, so there's some history between all of them, and the guy, even though they're friends, that he had to do what he had to do to try to find Billy the Kid, and shot his buddy. And sad moment, but I digress. Billie Eilish has one of those with her song, so I'm a big fan. Watched her documentary on Apple, that she had with her brother, and the way that they create music is organic, beautiful, and I'm a huge fan of it. Trav, what about you, buddy?
I I don't listen to a lot of modern stuff, but um, you know, Mackenzie listens to a lot of not a lot of modern, but some of her stuff. One of my good friends, Bobby, when my daughter dyed her hair a little bit green on the end, he brought that up and said she
Yeah.
looks like her, so it's been a running joke. So I listen to a couple things with her in the car when we're riding. and it's different, so I like it. I like a lot of different sounds, whether they're old or new. So when anything comes out and it sounds unique, whether it's the production or the voice or anything like that, then I'll at least give it a chance. And again, modern music, not really my bag. How old am I? But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't mind her.
Old enough to do Austin Powers references. That's how old you are.
Yeah, baby.
It's not my bag, baby.
We were talking, Funkel, you were referencing, man, we used to have millions as far as sales. So
Yeah,
let's get back to the death of Slim Shady coming out.
there we go.
The Marshall Mathers LP, which came out in 2000, opened with a staggering 1.78 million
There
sales.
we go. Yeah.
But the death of Slim Shady would be comparable to his recent efforts like Revival, which had 267,000, and Music to Be Murdered By, which had 279,000. So it falls kind of right in line. But just think, 24 years ago, 1.78 million.
Yeah, but I think that's the effect of streaming.
Yep.
Music's
It is.
consumed differently these days than it was in 2000.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. With unseating Taylor Swift, this will become the rap legend's 11th #1 album. And here's where some of the questions come in, folks.
Okay.
Putting him level with your boy, Kanye, Bruce Springsteen, and Barbra Streisand, who all have 11 #1 albums. This puts him behind 1, 2, 3, 4 people. 4 people or groups. Who can give me? All right, who's going to take the easy one?
The Beatles.
There we go. The Beatles top the list with 19. We've got 2 with 14 and 1 with 13. Anybody want to take a stab? Funkel, you want to take a stab at one of them?
Michael?
Michael is not.
Wow.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift is one of the ones with 14. We've got 2 left, and they one is a rap star and one of a hip hop rap. Both current, one very, very current, who's made news for a different reason just this week for some property damage.
Oh. Stitches?
Look it up, folks. The answer.
Hey up.
Pay up, baby. Pay up,
with
pay up.
13,
Madonna, is she one of them?
she is not.
Damn, all right. Okay.
Let's see. So what were
Rap and hip hop. One is a rap mogul superstar.
Oh, Snoop Dogg.
No, in multiple aspects of life. Producer.
Dr. Dre?
Nope. We are
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z has 14, so he's tied with T Swizzle. And then with 13, whose Toronto home just flooded.
Oh,
Drake.
Drake.
There we go.
Drake has 13 #1 albums. So Eminem has 11, tied with 3 other people. Still, gosh, 2000. Man, he's still doing it. And again, if you get a chance, modern music, there's a couple good songs. Houdini's the one that's getting all the play, but there's a couple songs about family in there. You can stream it. You don't have to buy it now. Who remembers the day where you'd have to buy singles?
Or an entire album for one song.
Or an entire the Kinks.
We talked about that earlier. Regrets, not even a letter. No regrets.
Not one single letter. Yep.
It's my credo.
Moving right along, we're going to switch back to sports. We are going to talk about the gas station. The only reason I came up with this banner is because I was listening to McAfee, and Paul Steens was on it, and he said that he's heard this name nickname thrown around for him, and he said, actually, I kind of love it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Steens was the starting pitcher, not just a pitcher on the National League All-Star team, but he was the starting pitcher. 1 walk, no strikeouts, no earned runs. So again, did a great job. The All-Star game nowadays is how many pitchers you can have in a game. But first of all, did either of you watch the All-Star game?
Rude.
Nope.
I watched a couple innings of it. I watched
I
all
watched
of the home run derby though.
Yeah, they should just do the home run derby and call it good.
I lost money on home run derby, but I had Garcia. I just like watching him.
Ooh,
He's fun.
oh man, he didn't make it past the first round, did he?
Nope. He had 18 and needed 19.
Ah,
But I watched a couple innings. I wanted to see Skeens. I was
Yeah.
hoping to see Hunter Green because I'm a Reds fan, but I didn't make it to the fifth or sixth whenever he came in and gave up a bomb. Uh,
yeah.
but
Was he the one that gave it up to Otani? Rude. He had a home run.
it was
Yep.
not. Um, All-Star games. While I'm counting something, All-Star games. Fans
Yeah.
of them, just in general, or no? Funkel, you go first.
Yeah. I think Rude's correct with the home run derby. That's just impressive to see us mere mortals just watching them crush bombs like that we could never be able to do. So it's kind of fascinating to see them do something like that, and I think that's what separates what they can do compared to the most lay person watching baseball who thinks they just stand around and do nothing.
Yeah.
So the ability to do something like that is otherworldly for the most part. But when it comes to the game, when they kind of meant something, I think it was a lot more fun. I remember watching when we were kids, and people were going after it and really playing hard, and they had pride about it. But with all the interleague play now, they see each other all the time.
Yeah.
But there were athletes that they never got the chance to hit against Dwight Gooden, and they hear about this sensation. And so in the All-Star game, if you don't play the All-Star game and don't make the playoffs, you're never facing those people.
Right.
So there was something to that where it was a reward for the best players to be able to compete against the other league, and there's something charming about that and competitive, and that's all lost now. That there's
Yeah.
no rivalry whatsoever when it comes to cross leagues.
Andy, your take. All-Star games, just in general, whether it be baseball, football, basketball, hockey. Your take.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can be fun, see everybody out there. But yeah, I think some of the luster is gone off the Major League Baseball uh, All Star Game. I did see something that I thought would be interesting for the home run derby, and that was having, um, and I'd be all for it, pitching machines brought in
Mm.
for it because you can break rhythm on these hitters real easy with 3 or 4 bad pitches they don't want to see. I think if you had the give the machine 4 or 5 um, throws in there to let the batter get exactly where he wants it and just let him tee off on the same pitch.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Funkel, you brought up the All-Star game used to be charming. Do you think Ray Fosse would say the All-Star game was charming?
I definitely don't think so.
But
He
that's when they
famously got ran over by Pete Rose.
yes, that's when, that's how competitive some of these guys were back in the day. But now I just
Yeah.
counted there were between the AL and NL, there were 20 pitchers used in the All-Star game.
Oh
20.
man. Wow.
20.
Yeah, and how many paychecks did they get for being an all-star? It's too much. They don't do the extra inning games anymore, right?
Right.
Nope.
It's no longer decided.
Yep.
So
Were you guys
Speak-
fans of that? Andy, go ahead. You were saying something?
yeah, speaking of All Star Game, WNBA All Star Game coming up next.
great. There's something else I can ignore.
Where's the WNBA All-Star Game held this year?
Phoenix, Phoenix, but
Boom.
hey, that's a short jump over there, Funkel.
Boots
Yeah.
on the ground.
Yeah, you guys can fly out. It's just a plane right away. Go for it. Knock yourself out. When is it? What time of year? Because there a lot of triple digits over in the Phoenix area right now.
Well, they play indoors.
Yeah, but you're walking. You. I almost let another one slip doing a Goodwill hunting.
That's for the buy me a
Yeah.
coffee
Will's taking the car.
extended. That's the extended episodes. Those are the
Yeah.
live streams that the fans have to pay for this kind of language.
I'm doing pretty good holding it back. I almost let it fly though.
When it meant something, so
Yeah.
up until 2017, for a couple years, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, the winning league got home field advantage in the World Series. That's right. The World Series starts with a
Right.
W. Thank you, Andy.
Yep. Got it.
Funkel,
Got it.
did you like that idea?
I did. I didn't understand why it was given grief other than like it's an exhibition game, but it was just a carrot for people to try to actually play hard. There and the reason it got out of hand was people were they came out there and they take their hat off and they smile for the crowd and then they're hitting the jetways wheels up by the third inning. They just made their appearance, cashed their check, and they were out, and there was no feelings of like staying there for the whole thing or any kind of respect to the All-Star game. So and I think that's why Bud Selig did that, was because of that. Wasn't it Bud that instilled that?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was an old school guy that was and an owner of the Brewers. So I mean that guy, I mean, lived and breathed baseball, and he just was trying to find a way to get people, the All Stars, to care again, and I liked it because they were playing harder and trying to do something other than just showing respect to the crowd and taking off.
Andy, did you enjoy it when it meant something? When it quote unquote meant something?
When I didn't watch um baseball any more in my life than I did was probably in my when I was 8, 9, 10 through my teens through high school and whatnot. So yeah, it was always a big event back then. I remember because yeah, one of the big draws was seeing these guys hit against guys that they were never on the same field,
Yeah.
and so that was always cool. I remember help me out here, Snakes, with was it Randy Johnson against
Randy
John Kruk?
Johnson, John Kruk. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
He
classic,
knew.
That was hilarious.
classic,
The throw over his head and the
and the swinging out.
yep.
Yeah, and he just threw the hat. He didn't care. He
Nope.
threw the
Get me
helmet,
out of
threw
here.
the bat, and he was like, "I survived."
Yep,
That
classic.
bird didn't,
Kruk.
but he did.
A bird. Yeah, that's it. I liked it when it meant something. I did. I watched that first year when it meant something. I watched the whole All-Star
Yeah,
game
right.
because it was cool, and I was glad that, like you said, Bud Selig, but any sport was trying something to make that All-Star game because
Yeah.
the NBA All-Star game is laughable. The Pro
Oh,
Bowl,
yeah,
and I get the Pro Bowl being laughable. I mean, you don't want, a Tyler Eifert situation, where you have a huge injury in football. So I get it. There've been talks about maybe not even having a Pro Bowl anymore and just having festivities and things like that.
I
But
say bring the pro skills back for football.
yes,
That
remember
I
Daryl
love
Green in
that.
the 40-yard dash? Remember those guys running the 40-yard dash?
Yeah,
You'd line them up.
yeah. That stuff's more exciting. I mean, hell, I saw something the other night where I don't know what my algorithm says, but Linda Carter was swimming on the Battle of the Networks, and I was
Battle of the Network
fascinated. I was
stars.
like, "Oh, I
Yes.
love seeing the Battle of the Network. It was
Yep.
awesome." So just a competition there. You don't have to go and knock each other's heads off. Just have a little a light-hearted competition is it's great for everybody that's involved with it. It's so much fun to see these people that are actually trying something like that.
And you look at like I said, the All-Star games, and for some of those guys like NBA, you look at them, the scores 184 to 170. So, it's just all offense, which, hey, you get the highlights. The next day,
Yeah.
oh, look at this dunk by, whoever. Look at King James being King James being King James.
Being awesome.
That's right.
I feel
And
sad for people who thinks that's the greatest player to ever play. I mean, it's just I feel bad for those people. Chump.
that's probably how those old WNBA fans feel about you and
Oh
Caitlin Clark.
my.
Well,
They're
she should have
like,
been born earlier for them to
"What
enjoy.
about Lisa
She was
Leslie?"
born when she was and dominating. Yep. You better believe it. The dub.
Yeah.
Rounding the topic back out to Paul Steens, the reason this topic was
Yeah.
brought up, the gas
Yeah.
station. One of the records he has or has tied is he's only the fourth rookie pitcher to have multiple games of 0 earned runs and 10 or more strikeouts.
Man, that's incredible.
Anybody? You
Nolan Ryan,
may
I'm
have seen
guessing.
it on Facebook or ESPN.
No, I didn't see it.
All right.
But Fernando, is he one?
He is not one.
How many
Oh,
are
man.
there?
4.
There's 4, well, 3 now, 4 total, but
And
Paul
what was
Steens,
What was the stat?
0 earned runs,
Uh-huh.
10 or more strikeouts in multiple games as a rookie.
Pedro
Wood?
Martinez.
No, and no.
No, he's with the Expos. What's his nuts that just retired? Pitched for the Nationals.
Strasburg.
Strasburg. He had 14 strikeouts his first start.
No.
No. Okay.
Dwight Gooden.
No, 2 of them are still active, and one of them, his rookie year was 1973.
Still active.
Not that one. 2 of the 3.
Moyer.
And I'm sorry. Let me correct the question because it's even more impressive for Paul Steens. He's only the 4th pitcher since 1893 to record 0 hits, not runs, my fault. 0 hits and 10 strikeouts in multiple outings. 0 hits
Wow.
and 10 strikeouts. So
Verlander.
Verlander in 2022
Whoa.
did it.
Good job.
There's another
The
one that's
Tigers?
still active.
In 2022,
Verlander,
Astros?
Astros, yes. 2015 is the other still active. And at that time, he was a Washington National, so it's not Strasburg, but
Max Scherzer.
Nice. Max Scherzer. You are correct,
Mad
sir.
Max.
And the other one did it in 1973 while he played with the Los Angeles Angels.
Angels. Huh. Phil Necro?
Not Phil Necro.
Do we know this guy?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Nolan Ryan?
Nolan Ryan is correct.
Okay.
Nolan
Didn't
Ryan.
you say Nolan Ryan earlier?
No.
I thought I did.
Oh, I didn't
thought
hear
I
it.
heard
I might have been repeating.
That's
So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Nolan Ryan, Matt Scherzer, Justin Verlander, and Paul Skeens. The only one of them that was a rookie was Paul Skeens.
Wow. Yeah, doing some big boy things.
Yep. In a big boy market.
Yeah.
No.
Do it in the WNBA.
No.
Wow. Last question. And I posted, I think, to you guys in group chat. How do you guys feel? So, in Paul Skeens' last outing before the All-Star game, 7 innings pitch, no hits, and yanked out of the game. It's happened quite a few times in the last few years. We've had 7 innings. We've had a couple 8-inning no-hitters and guys getting pulled heading into the 9th inning. What are your thoughts? And in my mind, when I was prepping this question for the podcast, I kind of thought, but I wanted to see if I was right. Let's hear it. Andy, you're shaking your head. What
Yeah.
is your thought on pulling guys, no hitters, 7 innings or later?
You know that video you see sometimes in what is it, GIF? Is that correct or GIF? What is it?
It's
GIF?
dealer's choice. I say
All right.
GIF, but
All right.
the
Fine. GIF.
inventor says GIF.
The the little short video with no sound.
There
The
we
one
go.
you see sometimes, it's got Kobe Bryant on the sideline,
Yes.
Yep.
and you can't hear any audio, but he's mouthing the word soft.
Yeah.
There's
That's
your
what
answer.
that is. Soft. I mean, there were days. The guys we watched growing up,
Oh,
you wouldn't be able to drag those guys off the mound in
No
that
way.
situation.
Yep.
What kind of shit? What kind of stuff is that?
There we go. Woo!
podcast is-
Fired up.
What is that? I mean, really, what happened? What happened to
Yeah.
baseball?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
We got it.
I was gonna go to that. Growing up watching games like we did with Dad, Rich Sutcliffe, those guys. Can you imagine somebody coming out to Rich Sutcliffe or
Jack
Nolan Ryan?
Morris.
You know what he did to Robin Ventura in his 40s. Can you imagine if
Right.
hey, Nolan, we know you're going after your 8th no hitter, but it's the 7th inning, bud. Your pitch count's too high.
I don't understand that at all.
Dude, Nolan Ryan threw, I think, 239 pitches in a game once. He did want to come out of any games. And he's talked about that before. He never had a Tommy John surgery. And the only time that he needed it is when he blew it out in his last pitch. And he blew it. He knew something was wrong. He tried one more, threw it in. I think it was right around 90. And he shook his head and he was like, no, that's it. And then I don't know if he ever had corrective surgery, but when he was president of the Astros, I think he came out and threw a first pitch 89 when he was in his
Yeah.
60s. Yeah.
Funkel, your thoughts on this pulling guys out?
I'm the same way. What Rude's talking about is I think it's sad. The only reason I'm not up in arms about it is because the manager said that he talked to him, and I had a question, and my problem then goes to the gas station because he's like, I'm tired, or that's what the manager said, was that he said he was gassed. How about that? He said he was gassed, and that it was fine if he pulled them. So you can't really force him, but I know Dusty Baker got a lot of grief over leaving in Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor, and their careers didn't have the legs that everybody hoped they had. Because
And
he was
Dusty
like
Baker,
overpitching them for Dusty
a
Baker.
player from that era of that we're
Right.
referencing, that you didn't take guys out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and right now the injuries are higher than ever. I mean, with the pitch clock happening, the Tommy John surgeries are happening, and millions of dollars are being wasted on Tommy John recovery, which is 18 months.
And you've got Andy's brought this point out in topics that we've talked about off air. You've got high schoolers that are undergoing Tommy John, and in some cases not necessary to try to do more.
Right. Well, it seems like the high school seems like the high schoolers are treating it like losing their virginity. It's like, get that first Tommy John surgery out of the way so you could really build up your arm strength. It's crazy to me.
And you referenced there's stories out there of Nolan Ryan having a 235 pitch game. There's stories out there of a June 14th, 1974 game where he faced 58 batters in a 13 inning game, and estimates are around 278 pitches.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I wanted to get go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, but that was the time, and you're not pitching for stats. And the same thing with hitters. Willie Mays talked about that when Jose Canseco was the first 40-40 guy, and they were playing to the game. They were just trying to win. They weren't playing to pad stats or playing for contracts because they didn't have that free agency. They were serving for the team. They were an employee of the team, and their stats weren't going to get them anything, but them getting to the World Series was going to benefit them. So it completely different um, business motivation in this sport now compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, and self branding or self selling, one of my favorites growing up, because again, free agency had started when we were younger, but not anywhere near what it's like now. But
Right.
anybody remember Ricky Henderson when he stole the base that broke Lou Brock's record?
Today he's the greatest.
He'd let you know.
He
Oh
would.
yeah, Ricky B. Ricky.
Lou Brock may have been the greatest, but today I'm the greatest.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I heard a
One of the
stat
questions.
recently about Ricky Henderson that if a player started their career today and had 50 stolen bases for the next 27 years, they still wouldn't beat Ricky Henderson in stolen bases.
Wow.
That's
Different ball
nuts.
game, folks. Different
Different
ball
ball
game.
game. But Ellie De La Cruz already has, I think he's over 45. He might be at 50 at the All-Star break.
All right, 28 years left. Um, Before we leave baseball, it got me thinking. And just know, when you're listening to this, buddy, we love you. But it's fun because we know at some point you'll be on the show. Andy, you had mentioned pitching machine for the home run derby.
Mhm.
What if we trotted out our good
Uh,
friend
uh-uh. Don't even.
Josh Ort onto the mound for
Jeez.
the home run derby? You guys both, Andy, you played alongside Mr. Ort in high school. Snakes, you faced
Yep.
off against Mr. Ort in high school, and
Yep.
Ort has told us the snake story many a time.
Yep. He got me. I am
But
0 for 1. I hit it to the wall. The guy caught it first pitch right out the gate. I knew he was throwing me a cement mixer. So I just got under it. And the wind wasn't the wind was angry that day, my friend, because it was blowing in and it just cut short. The guy was at the track and caught it with his back against the wall. So I'm 0 for 1 against Joshua Patrick Ort, the legend.
and he'll let you know about it.
He
Andy,
does
what are
all
your
the
thoughts
time.
about trotting out Mr. Ort for the home run derby?
Oh, it'd still be going on. We'd be here days later. I
And that's
mean,
not because they're hitting home runs, it's because they're waiting for a strike.
spoiled meat.
I tell you, listening to these guys when they talk about their baseball times, because they were all around the same time. I remember Andy and Ort were going at it, and I think we were at lunch one time, and Andy made some comment about getting whiplash because Ort was on the mound, and it was just this number.
Well, there it goes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Second
it's
base.
like the 4th of July with all the rockets he was giving up.
There were a few.
You had the
Yeah.
prime viewing position.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Second base. You saw a lot.
Yeah.
We love you, kid. We love you. All right, moving along.
Oh, I did want to say one thing about
Please
the
do.
All-Star and with Paul Skeens, he was clocking in triple digits multiple times with the guys that he faced 4 guys. And he was hitting 100, but Mason Miller of the A's came in, threw 104 in his gas tank. So he dialed up. He was throwing in the red.
Mm.
He did that high octane before he came in. He
Oh
was
yeah, that's yeah. He hit that nitro.
104. Yeesh.
104.
I
Unbelievable,
don't even
right?
think I could stand in the box at 104 if I knew that was coming.
You'd be like, who was it? Trent
Crook.
Dog?
I'd
Oh,
have been like Crook, bailing on a
yeah,
fastball.
just ducking out of the
Yep.
way,
Yep.
swinging at that little snapper slider.
I
I don't know.
remember
I think if I got got the bat on it, I just feel that when you hit those ones that the bat would just vibrate
Oh yeah,
up through
yeah,
your hands and wrists.
yeah,
God,
yeah.
I remember stepping in. We used to have a place here in town that would get up to, it said 85, and it had the warning on the cage door, fast pitch, enter at your own risk, 85. I
Right.
remember stepping into there a couple times and stepping right back out. Just, you keep that token. That one's fine. You
Yeah.
guys, that's on
Anybody
me.
want
That one's
to hit the rest of mine?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Caitlin
man.
Clark walks in, and is like, I got it.
and she would.
Yeah, she would. There it is.
We got to have an animation that we can just bring up.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Our there it is. There we don't need it.
You stop.
Our next topic is one that Funkel, as with all our deep thoughts, all our questions that end up on the podcast, he provides the majority, if not all of them. This one he's brought up a couple times, and he's very proud of this one. This is the Pondering Peeps draft. Now, Funkel, that's all I'm going to say about it because I want you to explain it. So take it away. What is the idea behind this?
Okay, so what I proposed to these two jokers over here
I'm already married.
is is that wanted to do a little draft where we would all get to participate and get to do a picking of our top three in something like a random topic, like say after school snacks when you were in school. What would be your favorite ones? And then whoever brings in the topic, they get the first pick. And then the second pick, we could just do a rotation or a coin flip or however you'd like to do it. But yeah, that's what I thought. And each one of us could bring in a topic for each week, depending on the rotation. And so I wanted to propose this draft and this segment to be on the topic that I asked them if they wanted it to be a surprise or a little research, and these two guys are like, surprise, surprise. And I was like, well, I'm gonna give you a little research because the topic is a little bit. It wouldn't be some. It would be beneficial for people to research. So the topic that I asked that we're gonna have this little draft, a 3-round draft, and we'll do the snake draft because
Hey,
snakes is here.
hey.
That's right. So the question is, um, what is the best actor turned musician that you've known primarily as an actor, and then they go out and they moonlight as a musician singing on tour or having hits, or however you want to say that they are really good as a musician. So that was my question to them. And since it's my question, it's my pick. So I'm going numero uno. All right. So
I'm
with the
ready.
first pick of the Pondering Peeps draft, Snakes takes Jack Black.
Mm.
Jack Black,
Well,
actor.
Tenacious D there in the news here.
That's right.
Yep.
Yes. They canceled their tour because of some comments.
Yeah.
But pre that situation, they still have over 3 million listeners every month on their Spotify. They've had Jack Black and Kyle Gass has multiple movies and series where they're following them around singers. About every movie that Jack Black gets into, he sings a song at some point. School of Rock is a classic, but also I learned about it in High Fidelity when he sang "Let's Get It On" at the very end. of High Fidelity. So Jack Black is my number one pick. So how would you guys like to do that? I will say this: the coin flip is no longer. It is out for the NFL. They used to do the coin flip, but as of 2019, coin flips are out. From the article that I read,
Huh. All
Okay.
right.
so they find another way to do it, and I'm not sure what it is.
All right.
But in that article, they said something about coin flips. You guys want me to tell you a little bit about some coin flips in the NFL draft history?
Yeah, go for it.
I would love the extra information.
So one of the big ones was in 1970 when the coin flip for the first overall pick came down to the Bears and the Steelers, and George Halas's son-in-law picked heads, and it was tails. Steelers get the number one pick overall, and who do they pick?
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw. They
Thanks,
picked
Alice's
Bradshaw.
son-in-law.
The Bears traded their pick. They got 3 veterans from the Packers, and none of them were on the roster in 1971.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So however you guys want to do it, who's going next?
Go ahead, Trav.
All right.
Oh, look at
So
that.
I had to
Look at that.
research my first pick,
Huh?
and I'm
Huh?
still, even to this point, not sure if, in my mind, he's more well known as an actor, but it could be either way. Uh, I'm going with the singing cowboy, Gene Autry. And I love the shows Dad would talk to me about, watching Gene Autry, but also watching Roy Rogers. And I would go on YouTube and I'd find some of the shows. And again, simpler time. I've said it before when we're picking out our songs for the playlist. But also when it comes to singing, Gene Autry's Christmas album. If you never get it, if you haven't heard it, which I don't know where you've been, if you haven't heard at least 1 or 2 songs on there, especially Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or Frosty the Snowman, it literally sounds like you went over to your grandfather's house and you sat
Yeah.
down and he was reading the story to you. And it's one of my favorite Christmas albums of all time. But for me, it's Gene Autry, my number one pick. And a lot of the singing he would do in the TV show that he was in when he was acting. So he would act, sing, and so Gene Autry for me, a lot of good memories, and again, simpler times.
Good pick. It wasn't he the owner of the Angels at one point too?
Yep.
Yes, nice.
Eh? Rude.
It's a 2 for 1.
Yeah, you get 2 picks.
Oh, all right, I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Snake
All
draft.
You got the Tulsa turnaround.
Well, then how about this?
Uh-oh.
How about John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd?
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's an excellent pick. You would know that well.
I would.
You were a blues brother.
Impersonator. Yes, absolutely. In high school. So, yeah, gonna go with Joliet Jake and Elwood Blues.
That's a fantastic pick. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think their album, is it the Blues Brothers soundtrack? Wasn't that the largest selling blues album of all time?
That or Briefcase Full of Blues when it came out. Yeah.
Yeah, either way, I mean, they really brought a spotlight to the blues sound and bring it to the mainstream. So that was a huge thing. A lot of people didn't know a lot of the people that were in the Blues Brothers
Yeah.
by sight, right? Like
Yep.
John Lee Hooker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I wrote Boom
Ray
Boom.
Charles.
Yep.
Yeah, you got that boom boom room.
Man, oh, Ray Charles, Shake a Tail Feather. Classic scene, the guy with the biggest smile that I ever seen. When he's Andy and I would joke about that guy. And
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it was awesome.
Andy, if you would, a little bit, just a little bit, you already mentioned, but a little bit of the background on the Blues Brothers. For those, if there's some of you out there, I can't believe there would be, but if there's some of you out there that don't know the Blues Brothers, their origins.
Started off as a Saturday Night Live skit. in actually first appearance. They were dressed as bees.
Bees, right? Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. Singing King Bee was the first song that they did on there, and I believe the first film to be born from a Saturday Night Live skit.
There you go. Yep.
Mm. Is it
And
really? That's
Yep.
cool.
it's great. If you haven't watched it, for the music, listen to the soundtrack. But the movie's great. Cab Calloway, man, when
Oh,
he
yeah.
There's
yeah,
a who's who in the Blues Brothers of, there's so many cameos in that
Yeah.
movie. You got John Candy in that movie. You
Yep.
have
you want to hand me the mic?
Princess Leia.
thanks.
Princess Leia.
Yeah.
What'd
Carrie
you say,
Fisher.
Chad? What'd you say?
You want to hand me the mic when he,
Yeah.
when he says
When
the
they
name?
crash that police car and they're in the back of that semi.
Yeah.
You wanna hand me the mic? Thanks.
Orange whip.
This is car.
Orange whip.
What number are we?
5, 4.
This it was what? No, it was car 55. We're in a truck.
We're-
He has that little chuckle.
yeah, that little jovial chuckle.
Yep.
As Funkel did it, another classic John Candy from that movie.
Yep. And
Orange whip.
Orange Whip,
Orange whip.
classic.
3 orange whips.
Illinois Nazis.
The Illinois.
Oh, I hate those.
I hate Illinois Nazis.
Yep. That towards the end of the film, big director at the end.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Know about that.
Yep. Classic.
And
Aretha?
Carrie Fisher and her salon that she was in, Curl Up and Die. That was a
Yeah.
real salon on Clark and I think Wrightwood in Chicago, right by Century Theaters.
No kidding. That's great.
Yeah.
What a great name.
Yeah. Curl Up and Die. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Man,
because
but-
Carrie Fisher was engaged to Dan Aykroyd at one point.
Really? No
Mhm.
way.
Yep.
Damn.
Power couple.
Dan Aykroyd, man. Well, he's still married to Donna Dixon.
And he's got
Doing okay.
tequila.
And he's got some tequila, the Crystal Skull tequila. Yeah. Yeah, great pick. Good job,
Thank you.
man. Yeah.
Didn't he do a blue? Doesn't he still, or has he stopped? Didn't he do a blues hour on the radio?
Yeah, I'll have
As
to
far
look
as
and
I
see.
know,
if
he
it's still-
still does on Sirius.
Yes,
I think it's on
yes.
his channel. Yeah.
Uh, great picks. So it snakes around back to me.
Yeah, back to you, bud.
I might get some grief for this one, but I don't care. I had to look it up. So his first acting role was in 1941, and his first album didn't come out until 1946. So he had about 4 or 5 appearances in movies
It
before.
sounds like this is going to be a loophole. This is going to be some crap. Rude, get ready. We're judge and jury over here.
Uh-oh.
Let's hear it. If you say Elvis, it ain't working. That
No,
dude's a singer. Okay.
we're gonna go with Frank Sinatra.
No.
Frank
No.
Sinatra.
Get out of here. Nope.
Uh,
I knew it. I knew
oh,
it.
jeez, I knew it.
I knew it. I knew he was gonna try to pull something like that. Yeah, yeah. Get out of here. No, sir.
Cut it out. What?
That's right. No.
Yeah,
So
I do believe Sinatra was firmly established as a musician before any acting
1941
gigs.
first movie role, 1946 first album. Sorry, you got to go the timeline.
I'm gonna check this. I need a ruling.
No. Well, you can check everything that you want. That dude is a singer turned actor. And on top of that, first person to introduce martial arts into American cinema.
What?
Did you know that? He did kung fu on a Manchurian Candidate. And that's
No
the first
kidding.
time that it appeared. Yeah. How about
Wow.
that?
See, if it wasn't for me choosing Frank Sinatra, you people out there would have never known that fact. You're welcome. You're welcome,
Yeah.
people.
That's right. He also had to be offered the role of Die Hard because he had sequel rights to The Detective.
Really?
Oh.
So, and for Die Hard, they had to go to him because the series of the book took place, and he had to say no, thank you before they can move on and ask somebody else.
Frank, how do you feel about climbing an event?
He
Come
said
on
no.
up. Have some fun. Have a few laughs.
Yeah, yeah, and Bruce Willis wasn't pick number 2, but what's your pick number 2? Since Frank Sinatra is not it.
Okay. This was going to be my I just want everybody to know, Andy, did you double check that my at least info was correct?
I'm seeing
1941 uncredited, 1942 had his first credited role, 1946 was his debut album. The Voice of Frank
well,
Sinatra.
it said he signed with Columbia in 1943.
Still after his uncredited and first movie role. All right, so loopholes
Nice
are out
try.
apparently.
Nope. Rules are out.
For one
What I
song,
say, judge and jury right here. Your peers. We're your peers.
fine.
Get out.
While you guys are, I'm gonna have to find a number 3. But anyways, number 2 for me because of one song and one song only that hit number 2 on the charts. Everybody, she wants to party all the time.
Oh,
Party all the time.
Oh,
Party all the time. Eddie Murphy.
that's pretty good. Another
she likes to party all the time. With Rick James.
Rick
Yes.
James.
Eddie Murphy, obviously, huge actor. But yeah, went to number 2 on the charts with Party All the Time. If you haven't listened to it, please do yourself a favor and enjoy it. On a Friday,
Well,
going home from work, turn it on and stream it and enjoy.
yeah, that great pick. But he's also done something relatively recent with a reggae album. Bogan alerted me to this about Eddie Murphy's reggae album.
Huh.
So
I
while
know
you're
what I'll
looking
be
up that single, check out his whole reggae album.
solid. Uncle, it's back to you at the end of round 2. If you could take a little longer, since some of us have to get another option.
Yeah,
But
I can definitely stretch it out for you a little bit. So my number 2, I'll tell you who number 2 works for. It's Jamie Foxx is who I'm taking. We got an Oscar winner. We got a Grammy winner.
Good call.
And I mean, he plays the piano. Won his Oscar for being Ray Charles, and had a number 1. I don't know if it was number 1, but I know he won a Grammy for "Blame It on the Alcohol," and I think that was with Kanye. No, but yeah, he's a fantastic singer. Jamie Foxx, man, that dude is quite the entertainer. There's not too many. I don't like him as like the lead, but you should go back and watch Collateral. That is a fantastic movie. Michael Mann. If you can put up with a chulo detective, Mark Ruffalo, then you can handle the rest of the movie. A blonde Tom Cruise just taking people out.
Yeah. It's a good one.
It's a good flick. It is worth rewatching. But Jamie Foxx being pretty much a pacifist for most of it, and not being like an action star or anything. That dude is entertaining, man. If you want to find, he's an impressionist too, man. He's done some Robert Downey Jr. impressions, Quentin Tarantino impressions. That guy is spot on with some of the things that he does. Mike Tyson, I I don't even know where that is. He was supposed to be playing Mike Tyson for the longest, and I don't know what happened where it didn't come out. But I heard it was in the can and already done. But I don't know if it's going to be released.
Okay.
So Jamie Foxx is my number 2, and then we'll roll into number 3, and this is gonna be a tough call.
You only had 13 to choose from, folks. So this is.
Oh, well, I'm gonna go. I'll bet my girl isn't on there. I'm going Zoe Deschanel. Is she on there of the 13?
No.
Okay. So she's in a band called, I think it's She and Him.
Yes.
Yeah. You
Yep.
know about this, Trav?
Yes,
She's
only because when I worked at Best Buy, I remember their first album came out, and I remember I was in that department.
yeah.
The man from Best Buy had a bunch of CDs. I was the supervisor of that, so I remember
Okay.
looking at it, going, "She and him," and yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
Great voice. She sung in Elf. 500 Days of Summer was fantastic. So, and I think in Yes Man, which my brother loves that movie. Yes Man.
really,
When they go to the chicken factory, he talks about that all the time. But I wasn't the hugest fan. But I've watched it. It's definitely funny. But Zoe Deschanel is in there, and she has some kind of like a little indie set, and she's kind of like a space girl kind of thing. But yeah, she's got a throwback sound to her. Love her voice. So that's who I'm gonna go for my number 3, last of it. Um, what about you, Trav? Did I do enough tapping, or
you
you?
you did, you
Okay,
did. I'm going somebody unique,
there we go.
but I'm going Jeff Bridges.
Oh
Uh,
wow, okay.
Jeff Bridges. I heard a song on the radio called "What a Little Bit of Love Can Do,"
Okay.
and I heard it and I replayed it,
Mm,
5, 6, 7 times because it's just a catchy tune and his voice fits that song, perfectly. So I went and listened to the album. The album was decent.
yeah.
But again, he's an actor
Right.
moonlighting as a singer. And so when you take into account singing isn't what he's known for, isn't everything he's done. It takes it from a decent to a good album when you take into account that aspect of it. And then there was an AOL session that he did, and he did a live version of that song, and awesome. Look it up on YouTube. It's What a Little Bit of Love Can Do AOL version, or AOL session. And but yeah, Jeff Bridges, my number 3, after Tap Dance, because apparently,
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra
There's no,
apparently is a
yeah.
singer. Who
How do
knew?
you know Frank Sinatra as a singer, not as an actor? Most people don't even know he's an actor.
He's an
The
Oscar winner.
Mediterranean candidate.
Yeah. He- he's an Oscar winner for singing, right?
No, he From Here to Eternity, he won an Oscar.
No, really? Supporting?
I, I think it was lead.
Wasn't that Rock Hudson in the lead?
Hold on.
Or am I thinking of something else?
Let me. I'll tell you right now.
Okay. Well, I'll give an interesting fact about Jeff Bridges while you guys look that up. Um, so have you watched Crazy Heart? That's
Yes.
the role that he won an Oscar for
Yeah.
Best Actor.
Yep.
And I think the song might have won for Best Original Song as well. But he performed it, but it's not sung by him in the movie. That I think that was pre Walk the Line, and when the actors were just lip singing for the most of it. But yeah, that's a good good movie. You should check that out. That
Yeah.
song,
Yep. I liked
um,
it. I
so
liked it.
good. And he was in Fabulous Baker Boys too. So doing some
Yes.
piano with Michelle Pfeiffer and his brother Bo.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Nobody should be surprised that knows you, though, that you know these facts.
Oh, thank you,
Yep.
sir. I'm trying to get some cred around here.
You got it.
What's the word? What's the word? He won the Oscar for that?
Supporting Oscar for From Here to Eternity.
Okay. Was that right with Rock Hudson as the lead?
Let's see.
And do you have your pick ready, Rude?
I do.
Yeah.
This is what we call
My
film.
pick is
Ben Richards.
is I'm gonna go with Steve Martin.
Nice.
Steve Martin.
Banjo. Amazing banjo.
Oh, the banjo as the comedian. Dang, you
Well-
went straight 70s.
Yeah, but he's over the years has become like an actual. He's got a Grammy Award for a
Yes.
bluegrass album in 2010. He's actually regarded as a really good banjo player.
No way.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
Damn.
Does an amazing version of Foggy Mountain Breakdown with Earl Scruggs. The album's like Earl Scruggs and Friends. And if you did a chance to listen to that, and you can hear him on the banjo, but there's all kinds of like stars on that. And yeah, solid. Good choice, Andy.
Banjo's coming back, man. I've been hearing a lot of banjo and a lot of different pop songs, so I love the sound of it. Good call. Yeah, Steve Meyer. I would have never
Thank you.
guessed that. I didn't know that. Jeez.
We've got Andy, if you haven't found it, the cast of From Here to Eternity.
I did, but I was looking to see who the winner was for it, and what I'm finding is, yep, the winner was William Holden for Stalag 17. Burt Lancaster was nominated for From Here to Eternity.
Burt Lancaster.
And
Yep.
Montgomery Clift.
Okay.
And Marlon Brando.
Wow. Everybody except Rock Hudson.
and Richard Burton for a
Wow.
film.
Hey.
A little bit of trivia here for you. For a film called The Robe, which
Ha-ha.
incidentally was written by my grandmother's cousin.
Whoa.
Yep.
The Robe was?
Yep.
Yes.
You sure that wasn't written by our buddy's mom, Kathy?
No, could have been. Probably been a different film.
Oh, I'm going to hear from that one.
Oh, the crickets.
Oh, poor Ort.
What? Hey, buddy. We're going to have you on the show.
Yeah.
It's great. Dude, he has listened. He's sent texts
Yeah.
about ideas. He's on board for the Ortnormus lock of the week.
Okay.
We've got to make sure we have a disclaimer that by no means should you follow betting advice you receive on Rudimentary.
Right. Please. We got to have a warning for that. But that was all before I just made that joke.
Who knows if he'll want to be on.
Right.
Oh, man. Well, that is the first ever Pondering Pete's draft. Dude, that was fun. That
Pretty
was
good
fun.
picks, guys. Yeah.
Everybody. Next week, we'll have another topic with someone else, either Andy or myself, bringing up the topic, and we'll do another 3-round draft. Very, very interesting. I already had a couple ideas up here.
Nice.
Probably something revolving around Frank Sinatra.
Got to squeeze him in.
Jerks. And to wrap up the show, as we always do, it's been 6 episodes, so as we have the last few episodes, it's time for Your Playlist Sucks, You Can Borrow Ours. So we're continuing to add just no rhyme or reason as far, no category, no specifics. That's been thrown around is one of these weeks we may be adding songs that fall into a certain category. But this week, it's again just what you're feeling. Who do we have first this week? Who wants to go first? Show of hands, or just say me. Rude.
Go, buddy.
That's
I am gonna go. I really like hearing a song, whether it's something I've heard before and forgot about or hadn't heard in a long time. When it's used in it's brought back to my attention through like a TV show or a movie or something like that. And I had that with a show that I was finishing up. My wife and I streamed it over the course of a couple nights in it was season 3 of The Bear.
Oh,
And
I haven't watched yet. Good.
all
so
right.
far?
Oh yeah, solid.
Yeah.
Season 2 was better, but really solid.
Okay.
I won't give spoilers away, but there's the use of the song "Baby I Love You" by the Ronettes.
Oh wow.
And
Deep cut.
and really well done, the usage of it in there. Jake, you'll especially get a kick out of it when you watch it.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. You'll know why when you watch it. Why I'm saying you'll get a
Okay.
kick out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bet I hadn't heard that song in 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
From 1963,
Mm,
and it I heard it. I'm like, my God, what a great song.
mm,
And so I had to even go. I know you on Cultured Dudes do your vinyl worthy
yeah.
uh, segment in there where you guys determine if the album that you guys are reviewing is vinyl worthy or not. And
Hmm.
this I needed to have, and I started looking right after I watched that episode, an
Damn.
original pressing of that single.
Whoa.
Yeah, I had to find one, and so there's this website called Discogs,
Yeah.
and I was able to go on there, and I found a near mint pressing from 1963. Ordered it, had it within 3 or 4 days,
Jeez.
and oh, it's on the record player right now. It's sitting on there because
Oh
I was
man.
just listening to it. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
yep. So, "Baby I Love You" by the Ronettes.
Oh man. Good job. Yeah, I love when things like that happen. Just a show
Mhm.
sparks it, and yeah, it's awesome. Trav, you want to go? You want to follow that?
Absolutely. Mine comes from a specific memory of mine. Growing up, loved a lot of oldies, as I've mentioned on the show. So a lot of my friends didn't. So I didn't have a lot of people to kind of bounce songs off of or talk music with. But I did have my mom who worked at a radio station in high school, and who had a bunch of 45s. It was in, man, if something said 70s more than this 45 record case, it was like an
Yeah.
dark olive green with a
Uh,
cream white lid that you twisted out and all the 45s
yeah.
stayed there. So my mom was a huge influence on music, knows so much more stuff than anyone would realize when it comes to music. She loved, we would listen to the oldies station and she would love to ask me or I'd ask her, uh, mention my dad, many hours of listening to Elvis, listening to Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, those guys. And then my brother on this podcast, my brother introduced me to a couple things. My brother introduced me to the extended version of Let It Be. I remember my brother calling me into his room
Oh,
and saying, "Have you ever heard the full version with the guitar, the full drawn out guitar solo?"
yeah.
Uh, and so, those things, Andy introduced me to the Rolling Stones, taking me to Soldier Field. We were in
Mm,
row 21, and he let me sit on the aisle seat. So I was on the aisle on the Soldier Field itself, watching the
wow.
Rolling Stones 21 rows away.
That's
So Andy's
awesome.
been a huge influence on music, so much so that every once in a while I would steal his cassette tapes. And one cassette tape that I stole because I absolutely loved and the truth comes
Oh,
out,
is this a
um,
reveal?
was, Great Balls of Fire, the Jerry Lee Lewis movie,
Ah,
the soundtrack to that. The movie,
yeah.
it's different, but on this soundtrack, the last song is a song called "That Lucky Old Sun," and "That
Mm,
Lucky Old Sun" is done by Jerry Lee Lewis, and he re-recorded just like he did Great Balls of Fire, High School Confidential, Wild One, um, I'm on Fire. He re-recorded these for that soundtrack. But there's unreleased versions in 57 and 58 when he's at Sun Records, but in 89 is the version that I'm talking about off that soundtrack. And this version sticks with me because I remember playing it one time, and my dad, who never really, said much aside from, who's Sonya and things like that, he asked me, Trav, who is this? And can you replay it? And that sticks with me
wow.
because my dad never really, was, hey, let's play it again or whatever. Dad's always been a go with the flow kind of guy,
Yeah.
and just whatever's next, whatever's next. But he wanted to hear that song again, and that stuck with me. So stealing Andy's tape and having my dad want to hear that song again, uh, makes That Lucky Old Sun uh, my song. Very slow, very sad, but Ray Charles covered it. Um, Louis Armstrong covered it. A guy named Frank Sinatra covered it.
Oh, the singer?
No, I don't know if he did a lot. It was probably in a movie where he covered it because he's an actor. But Let the Old Sun from the Great Balls of Fire soundtrack. It'll be on the playlist on Spotify and Apple Music. So there's mine, and we wrap it up with Funkle. What do you got?
All
You
right.
changed it just
I did
during
change
the
it.
taping of this show.
Yeah, and it was during the press talk about the potential #1 pick next year for the WNBA. And so it's as fresh as it comes as far as the the odd the complete opposite of you guys doing from 89 recording and 63 recording. This was recorded less than 3 months ago and put
Wow.
onto Spotify, and it's done not by old professional singers, but 8 to 12-year-old kids in Ireland called the Cabin Crew, and the song is called Sparks.
The Los Angeles Sparks.
Very
So
nice.
we are going to put on the Sparks from the Cabin Crew from Ireland, and it is an EDM song, and it is the song of the summer for me. It is so easily repeated, and it'll get the juices flowing, guys.
Easy now.
Hey now.
EDM, Andy's favorite category
Oh
of
yeah,
music.
he's a big fan.
Yep. Big guy.
So yeah. I thought I'd bring it a little up to date for some of those younger audience members out there.
I'm so glad that you're here for that because I can pretty much guarantee you, unless the category is 2020 or newer songs,
Yeah.
most of my songs will
Yeah.
be from the 50s or 60s on this playlist. So I'm glad you're here. It's the Cabin Crew. Cabin Crew.
Cabin
Spark.
Crew with a K.
Wow.
Okay. The Spark.
The Spark, yeah.
Okay.
All right. He's already looking at. Wow, this guy's.
Yeah.
I got to
Look
put
at
it on the Apple Music list.
Yeah, he's already on it.
Right
This
on
is
there.
real time, folks. When you said 8 to 12-year-old, man, it reminded me. Anybody remember
Of
Another
Thriller.
Bad Creation?
Go ahead,
Who'd
Jack.
you say?
Sorry, I was thinking of something else.
Another Bad Creation? Anybody?
Yeah, I remember
Yep.
them.
ABC. They
Yeah.
had a song called,
Rudy.
I think it was Aisha.
How'd it go?
And it was basically Aisha. And then the video, dude,
Uh-huh.
the video, so these are all young, probably 10, 12 years old, and
Right.
they're on the playground talking about Aisha. But it that song, when I was younger, Beth and I rewatched the video, and just it's one of those you just crack up and wow, this is music that we listened to when we were younger. Yeah. So
Well,
all
we
right.
had Chris Cross too, right?
Oh,
were-
jump. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Yes.
And
Close on backwards.
Little Mikey and Jackson 5, they
Yes.
were all young. So yeah, there's a lot of young musicians out there that are putting some good things out there.
Yeah, with excellent managers. Joe Jackson?
Joe?
Was that?
I was waiting for the Joe Mama joke. I wasn't gonna say anything.
You
Joe
can't
who?
joke around with Joe Jackson. Nope. You don't.
No,
Don't
that's
do
what
it.
I hear. But what was I gonna say? I was gonna bring something up. It's no big deal.
All right,
I'll
well,
figure it out later.
we will have. Well, apparently it's already on Apple Music. We'll have them updated on Spotify. Make sure to follow the playlist as we add songs. You guys will get notifications. But more importantly, make sure to like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications whenever we put out new content. We are
Ding,
continuing.
ding, ding.
I hear no bell. We are continuing our weekly episodes. We're looking, if you guys have something you want us to talk about, we probably won't listen, but it's worth commenting and seeing what'll happen.
Yeah, why not?
But we've had, dude, I've had Aside from Ort, I've had a buddy I worked with ask, "Hey, do we need any other other people on the show?" So it's kind of cool.
fun.
The people are listening to it and or watching it, but it's fun. So thank you, all of you, for listening, for watching, for liking, subscribing. The social media channels, Instagram will be having has more reels on it. I try to put on a reel or two from every episode, so you guys get a little taste of what it's about. But most importantly, it's so much fun doing this. I love talking to these guys and just talking WNBA week in and week out without without fail. But those are my closing thoughts. It's just fun, and I'm just here so I don't get fined. Funkle, we will move it over to you. Closing thoughts for this episode.
Yeah, just a reminder, when you're driving out there, please use your indicators when you're turning left or right. That's
Check
my
your blinker
reminder.
fluid.
Yes,
Yep.
check that blinker.
All right, and to wrap it up, Andy, closing thoughts on the 6th episode of the Rudimentary podcast.
Well, I thought about closing with my customary put your shopping carts away, so I will.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There it is, folks. Thanks for tuning in. It's been fun, and we'll see you next time on the Rudimentary podcast, episode 6, which will be episode 7.